Hey, hey, hey! Welcome everyone. This is What's Good with Karine. Coming up, What's Good with Karine? It is Friday. It is July 17. Marion, you're the first one here, followed by Josh. I love it. Marion, all the way from France, good friend of mine from Africa and France. Welcome everyone and welcome to What's Good with Karine. We have a new episode today and I have this insane friend of mine that I really wanted to introduce because she's basically just all of that in so many ways. So I really want you to stick to all the way through and get to know her. Oh, little dear Mango, I'm giving you a big bow. This is Patty. Hi, Patty. Wonderful to see you, darling. I'm welcoming you to a new segment of What's New with Karine. And for some of you that don't know yet why I created this venue or this series, in the middle of pretty much 2 weeks within the pandemic, I realized that we were all starting to focus on what was wrong. And it dawned on me that we needed a little more balance, right? We needed to balance this out with the things that are good. And there are a lot of things that are good in the world. There are like trillions of things that are amazing in the world. The mere fact that you're joining me today, that means that you're alive, I'm alive, and we can just celebrate on this part. However, our mind works differently, right? Our minds is oftentimes looking at what's missing, what's not there, what should be there, what could be there, you name it. So all of a sudden, the day passes and you literally never digested or even ingested this incredible miracle to just be alive today, right? With all of our problems, with all of our stories, etc., etc. So this is why What's Good with Karine actually birthed, right? So I'm Karine, and I want to talk about something super cool before I bring Danni Gee. Oh, she's here though. Danni is here. So Danni, just 1 second, take your time, put some more lipstick. She's right here. I will get you in a second. I want to talk about this event in Mahayana Buddhism that I really, really love. So there was a time, and some of you may know that because I've been a Buddhist for the longest time, for like 25 years or so. And of course, it's an unfolding practice. It goes, you practice all through your life, right? Just like yoga, you practice all through, just like dance or singing or just being a good human being, you practice all through your life. So it comes in this way. There was a big moment in the lineage of Buddhism where, yeah, there were some issues like women could not be Buddhas, etc., etc. You know what I mean, right? There was some limitation. Well, all that fell away the moment where this incredible teaching came about called the Lotus Sutra. Now, what's so interesting about the Lotus Sutra and why I'm tagging this to being with Danni today, Danni will talk about the art of reinvention, is because in the Lotus Sutra, which is the king of all the teaching of Buddhism, it says, right, that every moment has 3,000 possibilities, but even more than that. Every condition of the human being possesses the capacity to have enlightenment. I'm going to say that one more time. Every condition of a human being possesses the capacity for enlightenment. That's boom, huge, because that means you're never stuck. Hence, reinvention. And Danni Gee is gonna come in. I can't wait. Hi, Brighton, my day is here. Hi, Brighton. Hi, Tabitha. Good to see you, darling. Okay, let me get my beautiful friend here, and then we will move right along. Her name is Danni Gee. Are you ready for greatness, people? Way. Greatness is coming our way. Her name is Danni Gee. I call her Scarlett. Oh, good morning, Scarlett. Don't tell nobody. I call you Scarlett. Don't tell them.
We're always just laughing.
Oh, I'm so welcome.
Welcome, my beautiful friend.
Thank you, Shady. You look beautiful. I'm
Right.
having
Oh,
coffee of the day, so forgive me.
I've already moved on to wine. I'd already done this. Shay, good morning. Everybody, welcome Danni Gee. So, Danny is someone, um, right before you came in, I tagged your segment with the incredible capacity for each moment to become a divine moment.
Mm.
And I say that because you and I spoke about the art of reinvention. And I think that I really want to speak of this for so many reasons. First of all, to know you more because you are the quintessential of the invention or reinvention, right? We're going to talk a little bit about your past and right where you are right now. But I think that as of today, what a skill to cultivate to reinvent oneself.
Mm.
I mean, this is probably what we are all here to do at this time in our lives
Yeah.
with the COVID, with this incredible unrest, the social unrest that we've been in America and the world. But first, I want to talk about you, Danny. Danny, I want to talk about your love of dance
Mm.
first. So we're going to go part one, Danny. Dance.
Ah, um. Ooh, I'm already emotional. I'm sorry. Um. Dance, I think for me has always been my saving grace. I've always been super physical. We've talked about this. Even as a kid, I was a tomboy, always running and jumping and climbing, just dirty out in the streets. You know what I'm saying? And I was just fascinated by movement. I came to dance late. I didn't start taking class until I was formal class until I was almost 12 or 13. But it just because believe it or not, I was very quiet as a child. And I feel like dance gave me that outlet to speak without having to actually speak. So, and I just fell in love with the freedom of flying, feeling like I was flying through the air, running through the air. And then of course being on stage and feeling that the immediacy of the relationship with not only my fellow dancers, partners, but from the audience, obviously, and feeling like yes, I'm giving something to the audience. They are enjoying it. They are feeling something. They are, experiencing that same feeling that I'm feeling, hopefully. And so that's always been my thing. And I also recognize that even though I stopped dancing almost 25 years ago, whoosh out, that my setup with dance has just really dictated my journey throughout the rest of my life. I always come back to dance. So dance will always be with me. I'll always have good posture, just on the
Yeah.
physical side of it, the discipline, and now being in the position that I'm in with Summer Stage, just the honor to be able to give opportunities to other dancers so they have a chance to perform, but also to make a couple of dollars, make some money. And I know how difficult this profession is. So it's just been everything for me my entire life. So just being able to give back, still be involved, still teach the young ones, because we do the workshops and the classes with the babies on stage.
So this is, and we'll talk about this. So everybody that is listening gets to follow a little bit of your path because once being out of a dancer, and we'll talk a little bit more about your career, but you moved into being in such an incredible position of the dance curator for Summer Stage, which is probably the highest place to be as someone who loves dance. I mean,
Yeah.
no, but I mean, as a festival, New York City, you're talking New York City summer, not only New Yorkers, tourists from around the world are being touched by the program that you put together on Summer Stage. Phenomenal.
You. Yeah.
And Danny, you're able to invite even people that aren't, they don't have to be all established. You can actually find new people
Yeah.
where they're going to be shared and represented. They're going to have a voice.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I think that gives me even more joy. Like, of course, being at that stature of a festival and a brand, to be able to attract the heavyweights, you know, like the Alvin Ailey's of the world and the Martha Grahams. That's fabulous. We have to do that. We're in Central Park. You know what I'm saying? It's 5,000 capacity venue. What gives me even more pleasure is, you know, giving platform to the emerging companies over the years, who have then gone on, not just because of us, but who have gone on because of their talents to bigger things. Like, when I look back over the course, I mean, I started at Summer Stage in 2006-07, and to have seen the early careers of Camille Brown.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love her. I just love her. Kyle Abraham.
Yes.
Darrell. I mean, all these people. So it's just, for me, it's just a joy, because again, dance has given me so much and provided me so many opportunities to speak, you know, I mean, I probably wouldn't have gotten the gig at Summer Stage had I not had the Alvin Ailey name behind me, or the Philadelphia name behind me, to say, well, I've never done this kind of work before, which I hadn't, but I danced with these two major companies, so I think I know something.
That's another wonderful thing, because you're speaking of very early on. What do dancers do? Dancers starts very early. They go into the studio. They learn about discipline. They learn about showing up full out, no matter what, because you can't dance halfway. That just doesn't work that way. Then they get to know how to work in teams. You have a company. You're dancing either in duets. You have solos, but you have company work where there's many of you that you have to learn to read the energy of each other on the stage. So that gives you this other element, this other skills to work with. You work with music. You literally, I mean, talking about, you know, in the Ailey company. So I was very fortunate to share the stage with Danny in the Ailey company. And this is something that you learn on stage. You connection with other human beings. You know, you're not alone. You have the tech people, you have the lighting people, you have everybody, the ushers in the theater. This is an art form that is absolutely demanding of connecting better as human beings. Mm-hmm. Right? So how is this not going to help you in the other jobs that you probably have to do?
Well, I mean, that's if you're open to it. That's if you're aware. Because as you know, there are individuals that are just in their little silos, and they don't think about all those other pieces that bring it all together. I mean, even with Summer Stage, you know, I've made it my mission to make sure at the end of every show that I do, I have to thank the crew. Yeah. I have to thank the concession stand people, because it's not just my show. It's not just me out there being like, hey, Summer Stage. Yeah, that's cute. But it's everybody that makes the whole experience work for the audience and for the participants, you know. So it's every single person. The security guards at the front gate.
So you know what, Danny? I love, one of my biggest teacher is my body. I feel that the body teaches us all the time, like all the time. And when you started to talk about, you know, saying thank you to the security, the how do you call it, concession stand?
All the hot dogs and the burgers. You know?
Yes, exactly. All of those, right? It will be like honoring every parts of the body. Correct. There is not one part of the body that works on its own. Like, that's a complete delusion to think that you can work on your own. That is even more so today than ever. Like, I mean, if anything, you know, a little parenthesis on COVID, you know, we saw it all the way in China, in, you know, in the YN market. I remember going like, oh, poor people, they're going through it, not thinking for 1 second that we were all connected by breath. It was a minute before they showed up.
Yeah.
You know, but that, so it's like, it really shows up like, connecting with others and building with others is the way to move forward, to dance forward, so to speak, right? How did so you joined? You were with Philadenko, and then you had your big entry in the Alvinelli American Dance Theater, and Danny killed it in there. And then Danny was given the greatest homage, which she wore with so much pride and expertise and heart. You were able to do Cry.
Oh,
Right. Can we talk about this for a second?
yeah.
Share with me and us.
What's so funny is, as we both know, the jammer, Miss Judith Jamison, the I always have to go back to the night that she told me I was learning it and to start learning it. We were on a U.S. tour. We were in San Diego. I'll never forget to the day I die. And we were doing one of the all Ailey evenings, where there's like excerpts from all his famous classic works. And I had just done for the second half of the program, I had just done the trio from Blue Suite, House of Rising Sun, and it was intermission. I was gathering my warmers to go backstage to change for Revelations for the third act of the show. And Judy comes walking across the stage, and she stops in front of me. So when Judy stops in front of you, you're like, oh, did I do something wrong? Oh my gosh, she's about to let me have it. And she goes, yeah, I want you to start learning Cry now. And then she just walked away. That was it. There was no like, come into my office. I want to give you the, And I just stood in the middle of the stage. The crew is working around me to change the lights for the third act of the show. Roger Bellamy, dear Roger Bellamy, is in the wings warming up, getting ready for Revelation. Our late, great Roger Bellamy.
Yes.
And I'm standing in the middle of the stage holding my leg warmers, and I'm crying because I'm like, this is why I wanted to come to this company, for this ballet, for this solo. Roger runs on stage because he was so protective, as we know. He was like, what'd she say to you? I'm like, no, Roger, I'm learning Cry. Oh my God. So that's how that happened. Unfortunately, before I got to perform it, I ended up injured later that year and I had to take some time off. So what a lot of people don't know is that I was already injured when I started learning it and I performed it. So it was definitely a fight to the finish, kids. It was a fight to the finish. That hip was on fire, but
Wow.
but I had to do it, and I pushed through. And learning it was a joy. I got to learn it from initially in the room with Nasha Thomas, Renee Robinson. Judy would come in a little bit, just look around, and. In my mind, though, I already knew it because I had watched it so much as a child, as a teenager. Now, my mother, not knowing anything, I was still dancing with Philadenko. She gave me a videotape, a VHS tape of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. And on that tape was Donna Wood doing Cry. And so when I was learning Cry, Judy suggested I watch Donna's version to get inspiration because maybe there was some similarities. I don't know. And so I already felt like I knew it already. So for me to just start learning it really, really, like I already knew it really. And so I remember my first rehearsal, the full run through. Like you really never know what you're gonna need to do this solo until you do it.
So for our friends out there, this is a solo that has been created, choreographed by Mr. Alvinelli, the most famous female solo in the Ailey company. It's a 15-minute solo. Yeah, 15 minutes. And it was created on Judy Jamison in homage to all the mothers, yeah, to all the mothers in the world, but essentially African American mothers or Black mothers, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So keep going. So the first time that you did it, the first run through.
Well, the first run through was at the beginning of that final tour for me. So it was 1996. We were in Lyon, France, at the Maison de la Danse in Lyon, and Judy was like, "Okay, I need to see you run this." and I had my skirt and everything. And Judy was so fierce. She didn't want anybody else in the rehearsal. She taped the windows into the studio. And I didn't tell people this, but I had been secretly running it on my own when I could in other studios, like at home in Philly, and just to get my stamina up. And so, you know, we ran it straight top to bottom. And once I was done, she was like, okay. She had no notes. I mean, well, I take that back. She had 2 notes. There were 2 little musical cues that maybe she preferred, that maybe you should try this, you know, here. I'm like, that's it? She was like, you got it. You got it.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
that to me, now I'm getting emotional. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry, Danni. This is powerful, baby.
I mean, because at that point, we didn't know that I would have to leave the company. So for her to give me that much trust was so, I was so honored that she wasn't like, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. And I felt like my relationship with Judy was very much like that in my 6 years with the company. Like, she rarely gave me notes. Like, she was like, yeah, you're fine. So that trust that she had in me was so divine. And so my first time doing it was at the end of that tour, like 3 months into the tour, the final show of that tour. We were in Bremen, Germany on that little stage. Oh my God. And my boyfriend at the time had flown over, Chris, to see it, which was amazing. Remember Chris? Oh, Chris. And I gotta say, the love that I felt from the company, like from you guys. I mean, I remember, I think Night Creatures was first, Pause, and then Cry. And so I came out from the dressing room and all the cards were so beautiful. And I'm in the wings waiting to go on. So I'm on the stage now, and I heard all this rustling and running around, and I realized that people were like running to change their clothes to come and sit and watch in the wings. Like, the entire company was sitting in the wings watching this. And just the love and, you know, the crew, even, again, relationships, you know, you treat the crew right, they treat you right. And just even the love from the our traveling crew saying, you got this, Danni Gee, you got this, Danni Gee. And I'm walking around with the cloth. I'm like, oh my God, I was nervous. I started singing to myself just to calm myself down. My voice was shaking.
Oh my God.
And, you know, once that curtain goes up, it's just you. You have nobody to lean on for the energy, you know, all of it, the story. But I could feel you guys in the wings. And I remember specifically hearing Vakia Lambert, because I just knew her voice so well. I could hear her sniffling in the wings because she was crying. And told me later. But there's that moment in the 3rd section where you're going to each corner with the push, push, kick, push, push. And I just remember Renee and Nasha, Cry Women, pushing back at me in the wings, like, come on, girl. I get chills now just remembering that as one of my, like, just that support is so invaluable. And I will take that to my grave, just to love. It's amazing.
The part that is, so for everybody coming in now, this is Danni Gee, who not only an incredible performer from Philadelphia Company, we're talking about the Ellie Company, Cry specifically, but also Danni is a dance curator at Summer Stage, which means that that love and that passion, that discipline, and also that incredible sense of there is something magical in dance, that you get to transport this onto the stage of Summer Stage, where your presence, before we even see the show, the presence of you linking who's going to come to the Summer Stage, what's the programming, why this person, why not this person. I mean, it's like a continuous dance in reality. You continue to feel this, right? You continue to, yeah, it's amazing, Danni. But also, Danni, you sing.
Yes.
When we talk about the art and reinvention, here we go. I want to talk, before we talk about the singing, I want to talk about what was it like when you realize, of your injury, and if you can speak of that moment for you, what was that?
So, you know, you think you're invincible, you're young, but I don't know, somewhere in my dancing, somewhere in my mind, I always treated my dance like I treat my life. You just never know. I'm not morbid in that sense, but you really never know. Like, I could walk out my door tomorrow. Bloop. I could slip in the bathtub. Bloop. So I try to live each day, each moment, each performance as like, you know what, this could be the last one. This could be the last one. And so I always dance that way for broke, you know, I bruised up, all of the above. And so even with that cry performance, like that very first one, I mean, thank God, Christopher Zunner, God bless his soul, sent me video of it, that first one. And I gotta say, it went so well. Standing ovation, like I didn't expect that. And multiple curtain calls. They finally closed the curtain, and then you guys rushed on stage. We're all crying, and they had to open the curtain back up because the audience would not leave. And again, that fuck. Oh, sorry. Can I say that? I mean, it was amazing. So literally right after, and at that point, I mean, yes, the injury was bad. I was managing it. It was in the joint, in the hip joint, from an unfortunate landing out of a lift months prior. No blame, but it just happened. It happens. I returned home after that tour to Philly, where I was still living, and my doctor in Philly said to me, you know, you've got to stop dancing. Like, this is getting really bad. We can't replace the cartilage. Like, what are you going to do? And to come from such a high triumph with Cry the night before, literally like 2 nights before. And then 2 days later, I'm sitting on a medical table, whatever, and this guy is saying to me, you've got to stop dancing. I don't even know. I think my soul left my body. I mean, I can laugh about it now. It is still emotional. It's very tender. But I remember saying to him, no, 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 no. You don't understand. Because I was still able to dance at a very high level, although in some pain at times. But I said, okay, listen, I'll make a bargain with you. If you can get me through, and I don't mean like drugs or anything, if I can get through these next month and a half, because we were going into City Center for that December, let me get through City Center and then I'll stop. I said, because my mother needs to see me do this solo. And I was scheduled to do it twice on the season. So he was like, okay, but here's the regimen you have to do. These are the exercises you have to do. We will get you through. And so that last month, I mean, it was super emotional because each time I did a role in something else and I realized maybe it was the last time I was doing it, like Wade in the Water, my last Wade in the Water, you know, so it was like you guys weren't really aware because I remember Judy asking me, well, what do you want me to tell the company? I was like, please don't tell them anything. Like, I didn't want sadness. I didn't want the pity party. You know, I just wanted to just, you know, rock it out. Rock out with your cock out. You know what I mean? Take it to the rails. You know what I'm saying? And my last show, magically, my last show was on New Year's Eve that year. And so I don't know if you remember, but the confetti was coming down. And Judy turned me around to the company off of the line, the final curtain call. And I remember you guys were like, because that signifies in major companies that a dancer is retiring. And so, yeah, people were coming backstage like, what the hell? Because we kept it really. And now when I look back, when I see other artists retiring out of companies, like I feel like maybe I should have been public about it because then I could have gotten like, you know, a party.
Oh, yeah. Many parties, Danni, many parties. However, you did it also. I mean, when we look back at things that we do, there's oftentimes this was the best that you could handle. Yeah. Like, we gotta, I mean, in talking about how we deal with big moments, and when we look back and say, oh, I wish I had done something different, but really your heart, and maybe even our heart could not handle it. You know what I mean? There's so many variables, but however, out of that, I mean, we're talking about such deep passion, the passion of a dancer, the passion of someone that starts not early, so you had to like put the gas so you
Mm-hmm.
could actually move into the lane of the professional, high level, expert dancer at
Yeah.
that time. And then out of that, you being literally taken out without really not we don't ever think of a way we should get out,
Right.
just like when we die, we don't really know how it's going to happen, but we know it's going to be disruptive.
Yeah.
For sure it's going to be disruptive of some sort. Out of that, you literally fell into this other gift that you had, which was your voice. That's
I,
crazy. But wait, Danny, you started today, you started saying that you were actually a very not shy, but you did not talk a lot as a child.
mm,
So your voice
mm,
already at that time wasn't something that you used in that
mm,
way. That's amazing. And then you become the singer that you are now. That's
mm.
insane. So let's talk about your singing career. Let's go. I want to hear all about it. Sugar Bush is my favorite of
Oh,
all time. You
but
created, yes.
oh, I mean, I should correct that a little bit. I mean, I was talking, but I was chatting with my family. I was shy around people, except for people that I really, really, really trusted. Like even in elementary school, which is grades like 1 to 6. I had this one close friend that Cynthia. I had such a crush on her. She was so pretty. Hey Cynthia, if you're out there, I still love you, girl. But I was always trying to like make her laugh in the class. Like she was my one person, my number one, and so I would get in trouble for that because I was always trying to entertain her. Um, but I did actually sing in because of my stepfather. I was singing in my church's children's choir. So I don't know if that was real singing or not because we were just hollering, "Ah," And I sang in high school because I went to performing arts high school, so we had choir, and I started developing a little bit of vocal talent there. And we did musicals, which I had a couple of leads in. So I was starting to sing a little bit in high school and starting to write music a little bit. I actually wrote my high school song one year that they used for the graduation, which was really cool. I taught myself how to play piano. We had a piano in our house and just being creative. My sister actually, has a beautiful voice as well. So we were both kind of like singing, but she really was like the singer of our school. And I focused on dance. And so, once I left Ailey, and also, as you know, there were several people in the company that sang Desmond, QB, Berg, oh
Yeah,
my God,
QB.
Don Bellamy, I mean, Raquel. So we were always sort of like working on our vocals, like after performances, we would go find open mics and just like carry on.
Wait, Danny, before I want you to share one crazy story in the Ailey company. Just one. Just choose one good one that you've got in your backpack.
Oh
One.
my God. I mean, yeah, I remember we were in Germany and it was after a show. We wanted to go somewhere and sing. I think Desmond, I forget who else was with us, but they encouraged me to get up on stage and it was an open mic. And so people were like, who's this girl getting up here? And I sang all these not Regina Bell, Anita Baker songs. And every time, like, so then the audience would clap, like this person or that person. So I kept winning. And by the end, once you win that round, they give you drinks. And back then, I wasn't really like a drinker, like not like now. But by the third, fourth song, I was completely drunk, and I'm up there, in all my heart, I love you, baby. I mean, just giving you Anita down, honey, Anita down. And then they're like carrying me around the club. I mean, it was unbelievable. I have that, and then they gave me a video that I think I have somewhere that I was able to transfer to like US VHS. But so that was fun. So the singing wasn't out of the realm of possibilities. However, when I left Ailey, I was 27, which is obviously young to retire. But for the music industry, That's old. Especially then, you know, like with labels back then, and you're old, you're 27. So I was kind of dabbling around with my singing, but I wasn't really considering it as a profession or that I would go anywhere with it until I ran into a really good friend of mine, dancer and choreographer Roni Koresh in Philly. And post leaving the company, I should say that there was a whole period of course, depression. And it took me like 6 months or so to even want to leave my house. So that was hard. So I finally venture out and I go downtown Philly to this coffee shop that I frequented when I was home. And there's Roni Koresh. And he's like, what are you going to do now? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm thinking about writing some music. I don't know. And they're the coffee person behind the counter. Apparently he was a producer, you know, his little amateur producer, but he was looking for a vocalist to sing on some tracks he was producing. And so Roni introduced me to this guy. I said, sure. So I went and worked with him a little bit. And he said, you know, you should really pursue this. You've got a really beautiful tone and blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. The next thing that happened was prior to me joining Ailey, I'm sorry I keep jumping back and forth, but there's just so much.
It's okay.
Prior to me joining Ailey as a dancer, I had danced backing dancing, club dance with Kathy Sledge of Sister Sledge.
Hey.
Right? Hey, we are family. Hey. So I was taking class in Philly and with Roni Koresh, same person. Again, one of my angels. I call these people my angels.
Mm-hmm.
They don't maybe consider themselves angels, but I feel like they did help me do this, right? And so
We talking about this for 2 seconds. I do believe in my heart of heart that we all have these people in our life at the intersection. There'll be this one person standing like, please people, make sure that you always bow back to your angels, right? Just let them know. One of mine is Donald Byrd, but we'll talk about that later. Let's move on. Yeah. Let's move on.
I was in class, taking class with Roni, his jazz class in Central City, Philly. And Kathy at that time was solo from her sisters, working on a solo project. And she was doing club dates and needed some dancers. So she comes to the studio, she sees me, my friend Hector, he brings us over to her. She's like, I'm looking for some dancers. Blah, blah, blah. We're like, sure. So for like a year, I guess I was like 21, I'm dancing backgrounds with her. And we're doing club dates in New York, in DC, in Philly, a lot of like gay pride events. It was amazing. But then I get into Ailey and I'm like, girl, I gotta go. You know, don't speak to her because we were busy for like 6 years. We just lost touch. And so I get back to Philly. I started like doing some teaching in fitness studios because that's, you know, dancers can do that. That's easy for us to teach some stretching and whatever. And I needed work. And so we ended up in the same fitness studio. She at that point had also started teaching spin class as a way to stay in shape for the road, but just, you know, make some extra coins between gigs herself. I didn't know she was on the roster, but she saw my name, got my number from the manager, called me. Now, mind you, I had not heard this woman's voice in 6 years.
Wow.
And I get this voicemail. Hi, Danny, it's Kathy. I hear you're back in Philly. I would love for you to work with me again. You were always so fun and professional, blah, blah, blah. So I call her up. Boom. I start working with her again. And at this point now, I'm starting to work on my own music. So one day, I'm backstage working out some music for myself. And she hears me. And she says, I didn't know you could sing. And I'm like, I'm working on some things. By that point, she had started working with her sisters again, but all 4 of them were never available at the same time because, you know, sisters are all in different parts of the world. And she said to me, I have some shows coming up with my sisters just singing. Would you be available or willing to be that 3rd or 4th voice?
Wow.
Do we try that? I was like, hell yeah. So that gave me additional tools, learning, because they're monsters of song, their voices. So that helped me grow my voice, grow my ear for harmonies. I had no choice, and ended up seeing her as like baby sledge kids for the next like 7 years. In the middle of that is when I started my band because I was, why not? I needed an outlet and I was having fun with it. By that point, I had moved back to New York. I was dating this guy who introduced me to Greg Tate, the writer, who had a band called Medusa Oblongata. And again, as painful as it was for me to stop dancing and as sad as that was, had I not stopped dancing, I would not be here probably. I would not have started my band. I would not be with the amazing man that I'm dating now probably. I wouldn't be at Summer Stage, you know? So everything to me has its path and journey.
I also want to talk quickly about this part of us as human beings that is willing to show up and to have a sense, because artists are, to me, not only are they healers, but we are of service. Yeah. We are of service to humanity. And I think it's one day I remember vividly where I had to make a choice in my career as a dancer. Yes, Alvin Ailey, right? I came from Africa and France, so the Ailey Company, they were my number one. They were my thing. Like I couldn't sleep. I had to be with them. And when I understood what it meant to be in the company when I was then 20, at 20 years old, I'm in the Ailey school and I realized, I'm like, there is no way you're gonna go into this company. You just don't have it. You're not even from America. You ain't got no papers. You can't speak English. Who did you think you were? Like what was that? But that dream was so big for me to be part of that even though my dream left me, but my desire and my passion never left. Right. Like the desire to serve. And so consequently, I did join the company, and out of the company, I left the company around 27, when I was 27. Then this other dream came about, right? It was Broadway. And for me though, Danny, when we talk about being able to reinvent oneself, it was very clear to me that actually it did not matter what and in what venue I was to do what I was to do, because I didn't want to cut myself short of the opportunity to just give. And that to me is huge, because it became not so much about me anymore. Like, oh no, I only do this, or which is okay if people are that way, it's fine. But it wasn't my drill. My drill was more like, I can't cut myself short of being able to be on stage for anything, poetry reading, you name it. You want me to sing, I'll do my best. You want me to walk around in sachet, I'll do that. And you know who else taught me this was Patti LaBelle. Patti LaBelle, oh, chérie, come on. Patti LaBelle was in After Midnight, my latest Broadway show on Broadway. That's Broadway show on Broadway. Anyways, it was created by Warren Carlyle. It was about Renaissance and the Duke Ellington's music, and it talked about jazz and the power of reinvention, talking about jazz, right? This incredible form, the art form that came from slavery, talking about the depth of decline of humanity to what it is today, where it is revered. It is an expression of joy from around the world. So it's like the journey of jazz is of reinvention. It's like over and over and over again. But Patti LaBelle, she came out of the stage one day and she asked my good friend, Justin Johnson wanted to meet her. He's a good friend of mine. So he came, he was like, can I meet her? And I said, come, let's go. And he's a beautiful singer too. And I said to Patty, Patty, I would love to introduce you to a very good friend of mine, also a great singer. Here's Justin Johnson. And she says hi to him. And she goes, can you sing for me?
Wow.
And at that moment, Justin was like, he had moments of, and she said to him, don't ever say no.
Ooh, yes.
Don't ever say no. That's
Yeah.
not what we're here to do. She said, I walk down the street. If someone tells me sing a song, I will.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if there's money behind it. It doesn't matter. This is what I'm here to do. I
Yes.
will do it. And
Yeah.
it was such a lesson for me. Like I sat down and I really it took it in, going like, so
Yeah.
what's my purpose? Like if I said to myself, my purpose is to inspire, to entertain, to educate, which is what Mr. Ailey says about dancing, right? We're here
Yeah.
to educate, to inform, and to entertain, right?
Yeah.
Then we get to do this at any given whatever role, whatever, it
Mhm.
doesn't matter.
It can be scary as shit though, because let me tell you.
Tell me when you were scared. Okay, I want to hear.
Uh,
I want to hear.
um, Probably. I mean, scared, but still said yes. Well, summer stage for sure, because I had never done any kind of work like that, like as on the administrative side. Um, and my good friend Freedom Bradley, who I met through my music journey, being in New York, he was the then theater director for Summer Stage at that time in 2006. And he called me up one day out of the blues. I had just come off a tour with Kathy Sledge. I needed work, so I was doing some like background work in acting and film. And he calls me. He's like, "What are you doing, G?" I'm like, "I'm temping. I'm working on some movies. Like, what's going on?" And he was like, "They're looking for a dance curator at Summer Stage." And of course, we knew Summer Stage because you and I danced on Summer Stage together with Ailey. And I'd been an audience member. I saw Alonzo King Lines there for the first time, Erica Badu, and I was like, "What?" And I was just like, "I don't have any experience doing this." He was like, "Gee, you can do this." I was like, "All right." He was like, "Just go do the interview. I've already set it up for you with the director. Just go." Alexa Birdsong. Okay. I go in. I didn't even listen, Linda. Listen, Linda. I didn't even have an outfit. I didn't even have the right interview outfit. But I went in there looking like a gypsy. I don't know what I had on. It was awful. I didn't even have a good resume. I don't know. So I go in. You know her. She's sitting behind this big desk, and she's just like, "Who is this person?" And so we're talking, and I'm my experience, and she was like, "Uh-huh." She goes, "So have you ever booked a show?" And I was like, "No, I swear to you, I've never done this, but my friend Freedom suggested I come in." But I said to her though, "If you give me the job," and I remember my voice was shaking, I will give you 1,000%. I'll learn what I need to learn, and I'll do it, you know. And she was like, And then the funny part was when she told me what it paid at that time, I was like, "Ooh." I missed like what I needed to be getting paid, but whatever. But I was like, "Ooh." So I took a chance and I said to her, "Well, if I take this job, I will still be, I would need to still be allowed to do my performances and my touring to supplement. So if I can do this virtually somehow." So she was like, "Let me think about that." So I thought I had blown it. I left the office and she called me the next day.
Oh my gosh.
Called me the next
Oh my gosh.
When I left it, I thought I had just, messed it all up. But she called me the next day. I was literally on set for Denzel Washington's American Gangster. And it was like an exterior shot. He wasn't there, but it was like just some scene. And my phone is buzzing in my pocket. And you know how it is on movie sets. You're not supposed to have your phone on. But I thought she might call, so I had it on vibrate. And they were right about to go to action. So luckily for me, my back was to the camera because my action was just to walk down some stairs as an extra. So I slid my phone out the pocket. I was like, "Hello." Hello. She was like, "Is this Danny?" I was like, "Yes." She's like, "Girl, why are you whispering?" I was like, "I'm on set. I can't talk." Like straight up, Karine. And she goes, "Okay, whatever. You got the job. Call me tomorrow." And I start crying. But I was terrified. But I said, "Now or never. Just do it. Just say yes." So for the last probably 10, 15 years, I have just pushed myself to say yes. With one exception, but I pushed myself to say yes. And that one exception, I won't share it here because it's a little delicate. But I said yes. And then the other time I was really terrified, but in a good way, just nervous, was singing with Miss Thing, Miss Cher, honey. Girl.
So Danni, you sang with Cher, the infamous Cher.
Girl. And again, angels, right? So by this point, I was already singing with Gloria Gaynor as a background vocalist. Like 4 years in already, the diva, the queen. And she was literally about to have knee surgery. And I'm now also with Summer Stage, you know, back and forth. And in my mind, I'm thinking, shit, she's going to be out rehabbing for 2 months. We're not going to be able to perform. Money's going to be crazy. And I'm on Facebook, and there's this diva, Nichelle Tillman, singing diva. And I had friended with her because I could see from her page that she was a backing vocalist for Cher, Tina Turner, Pink, all these people. So we're back and forth on Sister Girlie. She liked my profile because Gloria Gaynor, Alvin Ailey. So we're Sister Girlie back and forth. And one day she sends me a private message and says, hey, you know what? Send me your phone number because you never know. You might need a substitute. I was like, yeah, right. Because that network of backing vocalists is really tight. I mean, it's tight, you know? And sure enough, again, the universe, the heavens opened. In that hole where Gloria was going to be out with her knee surgery, recovery, I get a phone call one day, a voicemail, and it says British accented voice saying, hello, we got your information from Nikki Tillman. Give us a call. We're calling from Roger Davies' office in London. And I'm like, oh. So when I think of Roger Davies, that's Tina Turner's longtime manager. So I'm thinking it's about Tina Turner. I'm freaking out. So I call, and she's like, no, it's for Cher in Vegas at the Coliseum. Nikki's going to be off with Joe Cocker, so we need somebody to replace her for 7 weeks in Vegas. Are you available? I was like, yes! And so she was like, I was like, well, when does it start? She was like, 3 weeks. Girl, listen. Well, actually, no. That was like March. It was going to be like middle of April somewhere. And so I was like, okay, what do I have to do? And she's like, stand by your email. The musical director is going to send you the files that you have to record on top of and send back to us, and we'll let you know. I called everybody. I was like, I need a studio. Got in that studio, sang the 3 songs. It was Believe, Stronger or something. I found someone, but of course Believe, because that was her big hit, you know, the last big hit she had, whatever. And I sent it off. Didn't hear anything for 3 weeks. Swear to God. I thought, they probably were asking everybody. 3 weeks later, I get the call. Hello, this is Cher's manager, Lindsay. We got you. We're going to bring you out to Vegas. I had literally 2 weeks to prepare. I had to learn 25 songs, and there was going to be no time for rehearsal because, you know, with Vegas, they're on, off. So they had already been at the Coliseum already for 2 years. They didn't have time to rehearse me, girl. I had to go out there knowing what I was doing, right? So the rehearsal, there was like a 2-day rehearsal period because they had been off for 6 weeks. And then going back to Vegas.
We got 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes, chérie. I know. Continue.
So I had to get there, and I had they had 2 rehearsals in LA. And I get there, I get to the sound stage. It's this huge sound stage, and I walk in. She wasn't there yet, and the guy said, you know, okay, let's run the show. No rehearsal, no nothing. And again, that was that moment of like, you just gotta go for it, like just put it all out there. And I did. And when the rehearsal was over, I'm waiting for notes and this and that. And they were like, bet.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I want to say, ladies and gents, if you have any questions for Danni Gee, we've got like 2 minutes. Anything you want to ask her about not only her journey, but possibly her capacity to reinvent, which I want to say is a lot about saying yes and showing up. I think there's a genuine love for what you do that is, and also of commitment that is so pure to me, Danni. When I see you, there's so much purity and so much, like, what you see is what you get, and what you get is infinite.
Oh,
You're never in the box to me. It's like, it's so open and wide. And I think that as artists, as people, stop, Paige. Stop. Look at this damn dog.
for
He wants to talk. He's like, yeah, Danni Gee, she my girl, she my girl. um, but I want to say, there's I I I have been honored to see your journey, Danni. I really have. I have been honored to be one of your friends, but I also, the reason why I wanted you to be here is because you have a company, Sugar Bush. You have your own band. People follow Sugar Bush. I don't know how they find this, Sugar Bush. How can they listen to the music? Okay, Facebook, Sugar Bush.
I mean,
Also,
of late because it just, being an independent artist is tough. So, did it for 20 years. We might do some shows again, who knows? But I feel like I did it, I've done it, and I'm good. I tried it, all good. Like, I've done it. It's on the resume, it's on video, we got recordings. So,
exactly. The other thing that Danni is doing that's so amazing is the dance curator for Summer Stage. And Summer Stage right now is virtual. They created an all virtual concert. I mean, it's insane. So it goes until August 26th.
yes. Mm-hmm.
So please
And
go.
maybe a little beyond to be announced, but there
Yes.
might be something coming up for the fall. But thank you for being a part of my series.
I am so happy to be part of that. So please follow Summer Stage all through the week, right? There's things going on all through the week on Instagram Live. Not to be missed, my friend. If you're missing something for your soul and feel your soul up of dance, of music, of discussions with artists that are amazing, please follow Summer Stage. There's another thing that I want to talk about. Is there anything that people can see you do? What was I going to say? Anything that's happening that you're talking soon? Yeah?
Well, actually, tomorrow we have a class at 2:00 with Ayodele Cassell, tap class. Please, please, please tune in for that. Fabulous tap dancer. She's amazing. She's the August cover girl for Dance Magazine. And then yours on Monday, obviously at noon. And then Monday night at 7, I'm talking with the artistic director of Ballet Hispanico, Eduardo Valaro. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good, so good, so good. I can't wait.
So my dear friends, if you love dance, please go on to Summer Stage, follow the programming that Danni has put together for this summer, which is the Summer Stage Virtual Concert Festival. And Danni, I love you so much.
Beautiful.
I love you. I love you. I look forward to whatever you're going to do next. I thank you for joining What's Good with Karine today. I love you so much. Anybody else, please follow www.karineplantadit.com. Tonight, we have a 7 p.m. yin class called Come and Unwind. And then tomorrow, Saturday, a festival, a little 10 to 11:30 a.m. festival. So go online and if you come in, this is a yoga, this is meditation, and also taking care of the body, finding out the right posture when you do your practice. I know. And live music. We have a cellist. Oh, live music. So get online. I love you, Danni Gee.
Bye, Karine. Bye, Prince Henry.
Yeah, he came down all right. Bye, Sherry.
Bye.
All right, everyone. Wow, what an amazing, amazing afternoon, starting with Danni Gee. So please follow her on Summer Stage. She's done so many amazing things. And if you wanted to do a festival taking care of the body, tomorrow, Saturday, from what time to what time? 10 to 11:30 a.m. You can go onto my website and find more about it. And I thank you so much for listening. What's Good with Karine, episode with Danni Gee.